Hello and welcome. You have found your way to this quiet place, a place of rest. You've done enough for today. All that is left is to let go, to sink into the comfort that is waiting for you. Feel the weight of your body, the gentle, supportive pull of gravity holding you. Feel the softness of the pillow beneath your head, the warmth of the blanket around you. This is your harbor, your safe place. Listen to the sound of my voice, and listen to the sound of your own breathing, a slow, steady rhythm in and out. Each breath is a gentle wave, rising and falling. The air is cool as it enters, and warm as it leaves, in and out. With every breath you exhale, feel the day dissolving. Feel the tightness in your shoulders release, melting away. Feel the muscles in your face soften, the small muscles around your eyes. Your brow unfurrows, your jaw relaxes, your eyes are heavy. The darkness behind your closed eyelids is a comfort. It is a soft, warm velvet, a blanket for your mind. The air in the room is still. Any sounds from outside are distant, muffled, and unimportant. There is nothing to do, nowhere to be, except right here, floating, drifting, sinking gently into a state of perfect quiet rest. Tonight we are going on a journey of the mind, into the great peaceful dark. We are going to visit the quietest, deepest parts of the cosmos, to wonder about the great unsolved mysteries. You do not need to do anything. You do not need to focus. Simply allow your mind to follow my voice, like a boat drifting on a calm, slow, dark river. And if you drift into sleep at any point, that is perfectly fine. That is why we are here, to let go, to find peace, to rest. Imagine your awareness as a small, warm light, floating gently in your room, a soft, golden glow. Now feel that light begin to rise, drifting up past the ceiling, up into the cool night air. You see your home below, quiet and sleeping. You see the lights of your neighborhood, your city fading, like a field of scattered embers, growing dimmer as you rise, higher and higher. The air grows thin and still. The sky changes from dark blue to a deep indigo, and then to a perfect silent black, a blackness studded with diamonds. You are leaving the world behind, just for a little while. You float past the pale, glowing circle of the moon, our silent companion. You see its ancient silver face, its fields of dust and quiet craters. It watches you go, a pearl in the blackness. You drift further. The earth is now a beautiful, swirling marble of blue and white, so bright, so full of life. You can see the curve of the continents, the soft white spirals of clouds, but it is growing smaller, a precious jewel in the vastness. You are safe. You are just an observer, a gentle awareness floating in the dark. You pass the red spark of Mars, the old red dusty world sleeping in the faint sunlight, a world of silent canyons and ancient dry riverbeds. You glide past the great cloudy bands of Jupiter, a swirling giant of storms, so large it could hold all the other planets inside it. Its great red spot, a storm that has raged for centuries, is a silent swirl from here. You drift by the pale, icy rings of Saturn, a perfect frozen sculpture, billions of pieces of ice, each in its own perfect orbit, catching the distant sunlight like a halo. These are the familiar landmarks of our cosmic home, our solar system, a family of planets all held in a slow, graceful dance around a single warm star, our sun. But our journey tonight takes us further, beyond the borders of our home, beyond the last faint pull of our sun. We are drifting into the great open ocean, the space between the stars. This is the interstellar dark. The silence here is profound. It is an absolute, perfect quiet, deeper than any you have ever known. It is not an emptiness of lack, but an emptiness of peace. The cold here is absolute, a stillness of energy. The stars are no longer just above you, they are everywhere, in front of you, behind you, above and below. Billions and billions of points of light, each one a distant sun, each one perhaps with its own family of planets, dreaming under a different light. The scale is impossible to hold in your mind, and so you do not try. You just float, weightless, calm, a part of the great silent night. Here in this deep interstellar ocean, we listen. On Earth, far, far away, humanity listens too. We have built enormous ears, great metal dishes pointed at the sky, in quiet deserts, on remote mountain tops, in places shielded from the chatter of our own world. They scan the darkness, listening for anything, a whisper, a pattern, a sign. For decades, all they heard was the background hum of the universe, the faint, static echo of its own birth, the cosmic microwave background, a cosmic shushing sound ringing from the dawn of time, lulling the universe to sleep. But then something broke the silence, not a whisper, but a shout, a single brilliant blinding flash, not of light, but of radio waves. Astronomers call it a fast radio burst, and in 2023, astronomers confirmed the most distant one ever seen, a signal from a time when the universe was young. Imagine, as you float here in the dark, a wave of energy washing over you. It lasts less than a millisecond, a cosmic camera flash. In that tiny fraction of a second, it releases as much energy as our sun does in 3 whole days, a single, impossible burst of power. And then it is gone. The profound, perfect silence returns as if it never happened. But it did happen. Our telescopes on Earth caught it, a sharp spike on a graph, a ghost in the machine, and the great question echoes through the quiet halls of science. What could do that? What in all the universe could unleash such power in such a short, focused burst? The astronomers trace its path. Back through space and time, this signal traveled for 8 billion years to reach us. 8 billion years. It began its journey long before the Earth itself had even formed, long before our sun was a young star. It is a postcard from the ancient infant universe, from a galaxy so far away its light is ancient history, a message from a time we can barely comprehend. What could send such a thing? Our minds try to find a natural cause, and the universe offers many violent, beautiful answers. Perhaps it was a starquake on the surface of a magnetar, a star so dense, a single spoonful of it would weigh 1 billion tons. A star wrapped in magnetic bands so powerful they would tear an object apart atom by atom. And sometimes the crust of this star shudders and cracks, releasing a flash of energy that echoes across the cosmos. A natural, if terrifying, event. Or perhaps it was 2 neutron stars, the dead, dense cores of ancient, exploded suns, spinning around each other in a waltz faster and faster, spiraling closer and closer, until they finally collided, merging into a black hole. And in their final, violent moment, they rang the bell of space-time, a final, silent scream that rings across the fabric of the universe, sending out a shout that crossed 8 billion years. These are natural wonders, the awesome, terrifying power of the cosmos, and they are a likely answer. But there is another thought, a smaller, quieter question. A what if? What if the flash was not an accident? What if the signal was structured? What if it was not a shout, but a word, a single, bright pulse, a hello from across the ether? What if it was a lighthouse, a beacon from a civilization so advanced, so ancient, that they could harness the power of stars? What kind of mind thinks in bursts of energy? What kind of message could be so simple, yet so powerful? A signal to say, we are here, or perhaps to say, we were here. A message in a bottle, thrown into the cosmic ocean 8 billion years ago, just found today on our distant shore. We do not know. The question hangs in the perfect, silent dark. The universe does not answer. It just waits, and we float, wondering. At the mystery of the flash, as we drift, our minds turn from energy to matter, from a ghostly flash to something solid, something real. The universe sends us messengers of all kinds. One was a wave of energy from an ancient time. The other was a visitor to our home. Back on Earth, another set of eyes scans the sky. Not ears, but eyes. On the highest, driest, and loneliest places on our planet, high on the peaks of mountains in Chile or Hawaii, in the vast, empty hearts of deserts, great white domes stand like silent, sleeping giants. These are our windows to the cosmos, observatories. Inside there is no human eye looking through a lens. Instead, there are giant mirrors, polished to perfection, and powerful digital cameras cooled to frigid temperatures, so they can see the faintest, most distant light. These giant eyes do not sleep. They are patient, methodical. Their job is to scan the sky, night after night after night. They are programmed to look for movement. They cast a vast digital net over the sky. They take a picture of a patch of stars, a million pinpricks of light. Then, an hour later, they take the same picture. A computer, with a perfect, tireless mind, compares the two, sifts through terabytes of data, looking for the one dot of light that is not where it should be, the one dot that has moved. This is how we find them, the comets and the asteroids, the small, forgotten pieces of rock and ice that drift through our solar system, our celestial neighborhood. We find them, we track them, we learn their paths, we know our family, we know the objects that belong. But one night, a telescope system named Atlas, the Asteroid Terrestrial Impact Last Alert System, flagged something new. It was just a few pixels, a tiny, faint, unremarkable smudge in a field of brilliant stars. The computer checked its catalog, a database of millions of known objects. This one was not there. It was new. The astronomers, in their quiet control rooms, sipping coffee in the long, dark hours, felt a small spark of interest, a new comet, perhaps, or a new asteroid from the far icy reaches of our sun's grasp. They turned other telescopes to look, more powerful eyes to help them understand what they had found. They measured its light. They measured its position. And they began the calculations, the math that would draw its path, its orbit. And this is where the quiet room became electric. This is where the mystery began. The computer tried to draw the orbit, a long looping ellipse around our sun. But the numbers would not fit, the line would not close. The astronomers tried again and again. The data was clean. The data was unmistakable. This object was not bound by our sun's gravity. It was not in orbit. It was moving too fast, far too fast. It was on a path that came from elsewhere. It was not one of ours. It was a visitor, a traveler, from the deep, dark ocean between the stars, an interstellar object. A thrill ran through the astronomical world. This was only the third time in all of human history we had ever seen such a thing. We had seen One-Eye Oumuamua, a strange, fleeting, cigar-shaped mystery that tumbled and accelerated in a way we still do not understand. Then we saw 2I Borisov, which to our relief looked just like a normal comet. It had a tail of gas and dust. It came from another star, but it was a familiar kind of object. It told us that other solar systems have comets just like we do. So what was this? This third visitor, they named it 3I Atlas, and every telescope that could turned to stare at the faint smudge as it moved silently through our solar system. And the more we looked, the stranger it became. The mystery of 3I Atlas had only just begun. The first question, what was it? Was it a comet, like Borisov? Or was it a rock, an asteroid? As it grew closer to the sun, the answer should have been obvious. The sun's heat is a great revealer. The astronomers waited. They pointed the telescopes expecting the show. If the object was made of ice, the heat would warm it. The ice would turn to gas, and it would bloom. A beautiful glowing cloud, a coma, and the solar wind would push that cloud into a long, graceful tail, a classic, beautiful comet. But 3I Atlas did not bloom. The days turned into weeks and nothing. The sun's heat baked it, and it did not flinch. It stayed dark. It stayed small. It stayed clean. Our most sensitive instruments are spectroscopic eyes that can taste light. Looked for the chemical fingerprints of water or carbon monoxide, of any gas. There was nothing. No cloud, no tail, no outgassing. So it was not an icy comet. All right. Then it must be a rock, an interstellar asteroid, a dark, dry, inert piece of stone from some ancient, shattered world, tumbling through the void for 1 billion years. This seemed plausible. It was dark. It reflected very little light. It was, in fact, incredibly dark, darker than asphalt, almost as dark as coal, a silent, black, rocky shard. This seemed to be the answer. It was just a rock, a very old, very dark, very quiet rock. From far away, case closed, but the watchers kept watching. They are patient. They tracked its path every night, measuring its position down to the finest, most precise degree. And as the weeks went by, the data grew. And the file on 3I Atlas gained a new and deeply puzzling chapter. The math was wrong again. The object was not where it was supposed to be. This is where the story truly shifts. An object in space is ruled by one thing, gravity. Its path is a perfect clean line, drawn by the immense invisible hand of the sun and the planets. We can predict that path perfectly. We can plot a path 1 million years from now. Any deviation, any change must be caused by a force, a push, an engine. When we saw Oumuamua deviate, we assumed it was outgassing, tiny invisible jets of gas, pushing it like a tiny rocket, even though we could not see the gas. But here, with 3I Atlas, we had looked so much harder, with so much better technology, and we knew with certainty there was no gas, no jets, no sputtering. It was silent, and yet it was accelerating. It was being pushed, not by a lot, just a tiny, gentle, continuous thrust. But it was not gravity. It was something else. It was a non-gravitational acceleration from an object that had no visible means of propulsion. In the quiet, dark control rooms on the lonely mountains, a profound and thrilling and slightly frightening question was spoken. What if the push is intentional? What if 3I Atlas is not a rock? What if it is a thing? What if it is a craft, a probe, a messenger? The alien probe debate was reignited, this time with more data and a much, much stranger object. If it is not a rocket engine, what could be pushing it? The astronomers and the physicists ran the models, and they came up with one possible natural force. The sun itself, The light from our sun, sunlight, it feels like nothing to us. But in the frictionless vacuum of space, sunlight itself pushes. The stream of photons, tiny particles of light, is like a gentle, constant wind. For a large, heavy, dense rock, this push is nothing. It cannot move the rock. But what if 3i Atlas was not a dense, heavy rock? What if it was big and very, very thin? What if it was incredibly light for its size, like a sheet of aluminum foil, a light sail, a craft designed to be pushed by the light of stars, a solar sailor, an ancient, elegant technology that our own science is only just beginning to experiment with. To be moved by this wind, you must be vast and thin, a sail measured in kilometers, but thinner than paper. This was a breathtaking idea, a probe from another star sailing through our solar system, using our own sun to adjust its course. The data was checked, the brightness of the object was measured. As it moved, did it tumble like a random rock? No, it did not. Its brightness was strangely stable. It seemed controlled. It seemed to be holding its orientation as a sail would, to keep itself pushed by the light. The evidence was building. This was not a natural object. This was a piece of technology. But the universe does not give up its secrets so easily. There was another deep puzzle. If it was a solar sail, it should be reflective. It should be shiny. A mirror to catch the light and reflect it. That is how a sail works. But all our measurements showed 3i Atlas was the opposite. It was one of the darkest objects we had ever seen. It was not reflecting light. It was absorbing it, absorbing almost all of the light that fell on it. It was as black as the void. This made no sense. A dark, black sail that absorbs light would get hot, but it would not be pushed, not effectively. The mystery had turned once again. It was not a comet. It was not a rock. It did not seem to be a solar sail. It was a dark, silent object, with no gas, no tail, that was not tumbling, and that was accelerating with no engine by an unknown force. It was an impossible object. It did not fit any category. And then came the final, profound mystery. Its origin. This is the deepest riddle. We had its path. We could trace it backwards, out of our solar system into the deep dark, to find its home. Where did it come from? The astronomers reversed the clock. They watched its trajectory fly back through the digital void, past the nearest stars, like Alpha Centauri, past Barnard's star, past all the familiar neighbors. It did not come from any of them. Its path was clean. They traced it back for 10,000 years, 100,000, 1,000,000 years. The path of 3i Atlas did not point to any known star. It did not come from any known nebula or cluster. It came from a cold, dark, empty patch of the sky, between the constellations of Orion and Taurus, a place where there is nothing, just the void. How can an object come from nowhere? This question, perhaps, was the most unsettling of all. One theory was that it is impossibly ancient, that it has been traveling for not just 1,000,000 years, but perhaps 100 million or 500 million years. That in that vast, vast chasm of time, its home star system and our own solar system, have orbited the galaxy on different paths, and have drifted so far apart that the trail is now cold. Its origin is an echo, a ghost. Imagine that journey, a silent, dark object, 500 million years, alone in the dark. The cold is absolute, a perfect, still freezing black. It travels on and on. Generations of stars are born and die. Galaxies collide. On Earth, continents drift, mountains rise and fall. Dinosaurs evolve and vanish, and this one, tiny, dark object, flies on, unseen, unknown, a piece of what if, until by pure, 1 in a trillion chance, it tumbles into the shallow gravity well of our small yellow star. And for a few fleeting months it enters the light. It is seen, it is measured, it baffles us, and then it is gone, back into the darkness from which it came, carrying its secrets with it. But there is another theory, a more complex one, a more fantastic one. What if it did not come from a star? What if it is not that old? What if it came from the void itself? This is the heart of the probe idea, a thought from science fiction. And it is, of course, deep speculation, an imaginative what if that wanders far. But the idea is, what if 3i Atlas was parked in the dark, empty space between the stars, silent, cold, waiting, a dormant, sleeping sentinel? And what if, as our own civilization began to make noise, began to send radio waves and television signals out into the void, what if our little bubble of noise, expanding at the speed of light for 100 years, washed over it and woke it up? What if its strange acceleration was not from our sun, but from its own ancient silent engines, firing up to come and take a closer look, a slow, quiet flyby to see the source of the new noise in the galaxy? It sounds like fiction, but the numbers, the strange, dark, non-gassy, non-tumbling, accelerating object from an impossible origin. The data does not say no. The data leaves the question open. The data simply waits. It is a mystery in its purest form, and this is the strangest part of all. Its silence. If it were a probe, if it were a watcher, it did not contact us. It did not say hello. It did not stop. It just looked. Or perhaps it did not care about us at all. Perhaps it was just passing through, using our sun as a gravity assist, a way to slingshot, to gain speed, to get to its real destination, somewhere else. And we were just a convenient corner in the pathway, a rock on its path. We are left with this ghost, this digital echo of a visitor that we do not understand. 3i Atlas. It is a name on a data file, but it is also a profound cosmic question mark. It asks us, what do you think I am? What else is out there, like me, or unlike me? It reminds us that the universe is not just what we can see. It is not just empty space and burning stars. It is perhaps full of things, ancient things, strange things, dark things, things that travel and wait and watch. Here we are, floating in the perfect, peaceful dark, surrounded by these two great mysteries, a flash of impossible energy from a long-dead time, and a solid object, a visitor from an unknown, distant star. The universe has sent us two messengers, one of energy, one of matter, and neither one gives us an answer. They only give us a deeper, more wondrous question. They show us that the universe is not empty. It is not a dead, static place. It is ancient, and it is full of signals, full of travelers, full of things we do not understand. The silence of space is not an empty silence. It is a silence full of possibility, a silence that waits. It is a grand cosmic library. And we have just opened the first 2 books, only to find that we cannot yet read the language. And there is a strange comfort in this, a deep, peaceful comfort. The mystery is so large, so vast. It makes our own worries seem very, very small. The questions are so profound that they do not need to be answered. Not tonight. Tonight it is enough just to know that they are there. It is enough to float in this great, dark ocean and wonder. The universe is full of mysteries, and that is a beautiful thing. It means there is always more to discover, more to dream about. And now it is time to drift back, time to leave the deep interstellar dark, and return to our safe, warm harbor. Your journey is coming to an end. Feel your awareness, that small, warm light. Begin to drift back, back, out of the deep space between the stars. You pass the invisible boundary of our solar system. You are back home, in our familiar family of planets. You see the distant pale light of Saturn with its perfect rings. You see the swirling storms of Jupiter, our guardian giant. You see the red spark of Mars, our quiet neighbor. They welcome you back. They guide you home. You drift closer and closer until you see it, our beautiful, bright home. The blue and white marble spinning softly in the dark. The earth, you drift towards it, through the thin upper atmosphere, through the soft white clouds like blankets of cotton, down into the quiet night of your continent, your country, your town. You see your home sleeping peacefully below. You drift down through the ceiling and back into your room. You are back. Your awareness settles back into your body. Feel the weight of the blankets again, heavy, warm, comforting. Feel the softness of the pillow. You are grounded. You are secure. The vast cosmic ocean is outside, full of flashes and visitors, full of wonders and mysteries. But you are here, in your harbor, safe and sound. The mysteries will wait. The questions will be there tomorrow. They are vast, but your bed is soft. They are infinite, but your breathing is steady. Let the wonder be a blanket. Let the mystery be a lullaby. The mysteries are not for you right now. Right now there is only this comfort, this quiet, this peace, and this deep, heavy, welcoming pull of sleep. You can let go now. You have done enough. You can drift away into your own peaceful, wonderful dreams. There is nothing left to do but rest, sleep, sleep, sleep.